As I said before, Call of Duty is awesome. Call of Duty is one of the greatest first-person shooter series that has ever graced our likenesses. It's something to behold, just to do stupid multiplayer and play against people online and have a blast. A lot of the aspects are fantastic. Guns, time periods, but you know what I'm going to talk about? Are those maps. I already highlighted the worst that Call of Duty has to offer, but today I'm going to highlight the best that Call of Duty has to offer. There's no limit to how many are on each game. I just picked what I have liked in the past and what I have always played. And I will tell you once again, there is a map from every Call of Duty. From Modern Warfare to Advanced Warfare. This is the top 20 Call of Duty maps of all time. Number 20. For number 20, we're going to start at Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 is a game that I initially hated, and then realized I love it, and I've played that so much. My number 20 goes to Highjacked. Highjacked is a decent small map. It's got plenty of just long, drawn-out corridors, but you know what? It ends up working. The corridors aren't so long that you can't get people. It just plays so fun. There's a lot of indoor areas where you can fight. People can get up on catwalks on the top and fight, but it's easy enough to flank them that it's not a miserable mess. There's also a flanking route on the bottom of the map where you can sneak underneath everybody and get there. I'm not a huge fan. I like this map a lot, but where its greatness starts, it ends with basically people play it kind of dickishly, but I mean, you can at least milk a lot of fun out of it. Number 19. Advanced Warfare is a great game. For something that added an element to CODs that makes the gameplay nice and different from the rest, it did a great job. I know a lot of people don't like the exosuit, but I think it's a lot of fun. For how fun it is, there is only one map on this list, and here it is. It's Biolab. Biolab is probably a medium-sized map with just a good assortment of fighting everywhere. There are inside buildings with lots of close corners where you can get people. There's outside areas with big, long, nice camping opportunities for everybody. Honestly, the map's made for every kind of strategy. And while I don't have it right here, this is the map that I have actually gotten my highest kill streak at in any COD. Once I actually managed to go 34-1 here, which is kind of remarkable because I ran out of ammo on both guns and then just picked up an ASM-1 and, well, the rest is, I guess, history since you can actually get a nuke thing in the game. But Biolab has always been fun for me, and especially accented by that fun jumping gameplay and all the jukes you can put on people when you're playing. Number 18. We're gonna get Ghosts out of the way pretty early here. There is only one map from Ghosts in here, but sometimes you gotta give credit where credit is due when a map's fun. I like Tremor a lot. Tremor is pretty nifty in the sense of it's also pretty close quarters. There's a building in the middle with nice snaky elements where you can go in, and usually I go in that building and I get everybody. You know that building well, you can get around it. Plus all the hallways and outside alleyways around the building, they are conducive to fighting. There's one area I'm not a fan of. There's an outside edge, there's a building on the outside, and there's, you know, two windows facing from the top that face into it. I'm not a fan of that courtyard. There's also another alleyway where I'm not a huge fan of the courtyard, but usually that's the one map in that game that I usually do pretty okay at. It's not saying much considering that a lot of the fighting is just assault rifles across the map. Not so fun. But another day I'll talk about Ghosts and everything I can't stand about it. Number 17. It's a nice departure to move away from those modern games. So far I haven't talked about a game any older than Black Ops 2, but my number 17 comes from Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare was wonderful. It's so much fun to play. It's got goofy game modes. It cracks me up that I can actually get on the game and still play old school free-for-all for some reason, but Still, it's a game that I wish a lot more people played and you could get onto and play a lot. As for the maps, they were pretty wonderful. My number 17 goes to Showdown. When I was gathering this footage, I didn't realize it, but Showdown is really small. I didn't realize how wonderfully small it is until I played it, but that's also funny in my situation because when I play Showdown, I play it with a sniper rifle. I don't know why. It was something that when I first played the game with Calvin a long time ago, I decided that that was a sniping map. I mean, it's got 2 floors. It's got a nice outside circle that you can run around. Sniping works, as well as basically everything. The map's small enough that you can do that, but the map's got large areas that work. That's probably something that I like most in maps, when you can do basically anything and still have fun. All-around maps are great. They fill me with joy and I have fun, especially Showdown. Showdown was always fun, had a cool little theme with the dude in the middle. That was one of the campaign missions I actually played, was when you're at Showdown. So, Showdown, definitely one of my favorites. Number 16. So I'm not actually going to stray from Modern Warfare. This is another one from that game. I'm going to go with Vacant. Vacant is super fun, and there's one reason I think it's super fun, and it's because it's one of my favorite shotgun maps of all time. Vacant is great shotgun map. It's nothing but corners, unless you go outside in that one area, but it's nothing but quick corners and quick shotgunning. You can do a lot of things here. I wouldn't say sniping is such a good idea unless you're looking outside, but not a lot of people go there. A lot of people go inside. But Vacant's just a cool map. It's dark on the outside, bright on the inside. It's well designed. A lot of fun encounters happen there. People can get you from everywhere, but I mean, usually you can run around and have a good time at Vacant. Number 15. Black Ops is not a game I initially liked. But, you know, as the years went, it got a little better, and now the more I think about it, I'm not actually a huge fan of the multiplayer anymore. The people who play it are ridiculously good now. A couple years ago I used to play it, and it was good. I did have fun. It wasn't too bad. But nowadays, not so much. But of the maps I did play, I did really like Grid. Grid is a little larger than the maps I've talked about. Overall, it's a pretty big map. There's a lot of areas. Usually when I played there, I used an M14, and the M14 is one of my favorite guns in any COD. Hell, I even like the M14 in Ghosts. But usually there was a lot you could do there. You could do basically anything you wanted. A lot of big areas. This is probably one of the greatest domination maps there have been as well. B is anybody can get you from everywhere. A and C they're tough to take, but if you watch your zones, you can take them. It's a good domination map, and it's a good overall map. Usually I get what you would nowadays call a bloodthirsty 5 kills without dying. I usually get 1 per match at Grid. Grid usually goes well for me, and I think that's why I like it a lot. Number 14. Finally, we've made it to World at War, my personal favorite. World at War did so many things so right and was so fun. I played a hell of a lot of World at War, but what's funny is World at War added something that no other COD added, and it was tanks. It's so odd that they never put anything in a game like a tank. Yeah, you can complain that tanks were just unfair, but tanks were about as easy to destroy as it was for them to destroy you. Satchel charges and bazookas were perfectly set up to destroy tanks as well as other tanks. Tanks weren't unfair. So when you make a map that perfectly integrates tanks, that's when I'm having the most fun. Number 14 is Roundhouse. Roundhouse is just nifty. You can just basically picture the map as 3 circles. There's a roundhouse in the middle. There's an area around the roundhouse with walls surrounding it. That's the middle ring. And then there's a bunch of buildings, a bunch of train cars, a bunch of stuff just everywhere. That's one thing that World at War did so well. It was aesthetically incredible to look at, especially these 1940s war-torn environments. Looking at this stuff was great. But what was best about this map was the fighting. Fighting was a blast. You could run the circles and get people. You could cut through the circles and get people. And when people got a tank, there were so many places you could hide from that tank and get it destroyed in just no trouble at all. Usually I used a rifle here, which rifles in World at War were all single taps, semi-automatic, beautiful weapons to use, unless you're talking about the M1 Grand, but we're not going to go into that right now. It's fun to run around. Usually you can get people. You can do basically anything in that map too. You can use a shotgun, run the outside. You can use a sniper, look at the inside areas from a very high up vantage point. It's like 4 stories up. There's another building where you can go upstairs. It's just a lot you can do. It's just a map that I always loved playing at and always voted for. Number 13. Right back to Black Ops. We're gonna go into one of those favorite maps that, hell, even got remade. My number 13 is Summit. Summit was one of the best close quarter offerings that COD has ever had. There were so many close quarter areas where you can get people. I always use a shotgun at Summit. That's how I always start, and it always works for me. Summit did create a lot of fun, and it was beautiful because it's a snowy map, and snowy maps are great. You could definitely take a lesson uplink from Black Ops 2. I don't want Summit as a gross, rainy, dark thing. It looks nice as a bright, shiny, fun thing. Summit's also a great domination map. 2 ends on completely different sides. You gotta watch where they come at you, and B is just a clusterfuck. But still, it's just so much fun to play at Summit. I usually have fun at Summit, and what else is there to say, I guess? Number 12. We're gonna go back to Black Ops 2. And one thing that I always liked a lot about Black Ops 2 was the DLC. I think they did a shockingly good job with the DLC. There were not a lot of DLC maps I didn't like, and nowadays there's a ton of maps I don't like that are DLC related, but there was one map in particular that I always voted for because I always had fun at Cove. Cove is an interesting animal. It's outdoors in a nice sunny plane wrecked map. Yeah, don't remind me of Turbine, but there's a nice little plane crash in there. You're on an island. And, I mean, you can literally just jump off the island and die, but Cove had these fun, long areas. The map was kind of formatted like circles around the outside edges or inside circles, but, I mean, usually I took kind of like a zigzaggy figure 8 approach to playing the map. I would go like halfway around a circle, then I'd cut through the middle, and I'd cut through the plane, and I would go other places. Usually that map was just a blast for me, and it's another map where you could do about anything. Shotgunning might be a little iffy. I mean, shotgun will never be iffy when the KSG exists from that game. But nonetheless, you could do about anything. You could run around the maps. Cove was always fun. Even when I was losing, I could change up my gameplay in a pinch and just have a blast. So I really do like Cove. Number 11. I haven't talked a lot about specifically always sniping maps, but maybe to start this conversation, we're gonna have to go all the way back to the beginning. My number 11 is Bloc. Bloc is just cool. It's got a nice snowy theme. I believe it's in Russia, maybe Chernobyl. I'm not sure. I didn't play a lot of that campaign, but you're in Russia, and the map is huge in distances across the map. You just basically, you look across the map and you see the other side. And you're sniping and someone else is sniping, and that's how you play the map. You snipe, and it's so much fun. Don't like sniping? Go in the buildings. You can hide in the buildings as long as you stay on the insides, but at the same time, you can go to the outsides of the building and snipe. There's also this kind of maze area in the middle where you can run, but usually I don't go there. It always feels a little risky. Kind of like a bullet to the brain kind of risky. And again, this is one of the earlier maps I remember playing Domination on and really enjoying. You could play it on the outsides, C and A was accessible from two ways. You'd always have to watch where you're going, and B was just a disaster because it was in the dead center. You could basically see anybody from anywhere. In fact, you basically could just throw a grenade at B and everything will be okay for your team because what are the odds you're not going to hit somebody? Bloc was always a fun map. I always have fun sniping there, and whenever you get sniped, you just say, yeah, I guess I deserve that. Number 10. I don't think a game had a better starting set of maps than World at War. I'll be completely honest. For 8 maps that they put in the game, they were mostly, all of them were wonderful. I'll give them that exclusion to Macon, but most of them are always good. My number 10 is Hangar. Hangar fits the theme of you can do anything and have fun. They're big. The hangar is a huge building, wonderful for sniping. There's also a lot of outside areas that are wonderful for sniping. You could range anything from a rifle to a machine gun and have fun, and the same goes for shotguns. I think it's a great shotgun map. And I mean everywhere it's a great shotgun map. You could even go into the hangar where someone's sniping, and there's so many planes in the way, you can maneuver the hangar and get a sniper in the back because it's so tricky for them to get you. I mean, let's be fair. People are pretty good at sniping, but it's easy to sneak up on somebody who's in that back corner. It's hard to camp back there. There's a lot of places in the map where it's easy to camp. There's a few buildings that you can always hold out with beddies and look out the windows and sit in corners. But, I mean, these buildings always have a couple access points, and it's pretty easy to get people, especially in my case when I have a shotgun. A lot of people like to hide over staircases, and I like to back up those staircases and just get them. But yeah, hangar, just again, lots of fun. Number 9. When playing these maps over, you forget. Some of them are kind of made beautifully. My number 9 is Standoff from Black Ops 2. This is a map that, like a Nuketown, you would never see it lose at voting. I might have seen it lose once or twice, but you would never see it lose a vote. Why? Standoff's the best. Obviously, it's not the best considering I put it at 9, but it's always a bunch of fun. Another map you can do everything at. Long corridors for sniping. Close quarters on the outside edges. You could just do whatever you want. And on my footage, I had so much fun. Those dual 5.7s? Hell yes. FAL? Hell yes. Running around, having fun. Standoff was just where you wanted to play always whenever you play Black Ops 2, because no matter what you did, you usually had fun. Number 8. So, other than a few of these high ones, I'm starting to hit maps that are like classic and everyone's absolute favorite and always get voted for, and always the maps you talk about, always the ones that are memorable. So, of course, who doesn't love a little firing range? Firing range was always a blast. Always pull out a machine gun or an assault rifle, maybe even a good submachine gun, and you'd be having fun. Those corridors are long, usually made up of good equal fights. Usually it's the person who could stick the gun on the other person quicker who's going to win the fight. I mean, you could say that about every fight, but you can camp, but you're not going to have a lot of fun. They kind of smacked the camping areas where people aren't going to go and people can easily flank you. Long corridors also promote sniping in ways. I was never one who sniped, but I could totally see people sniping and doing well, and usually this is the map where you see dogs and chopper gunners. It's where people do really well, and I always used to do exceptionally well. I think firing range is definitely a sweet place to be. Number 7. I think this is gonna be the highest up example of a map where you can do anything and it'll have fun. It's one of the best designed maps. It's a map that everyone talks about, and hell, I even based my first Xbox Live name around a guy who said something about getting on top of the castle. Castle for me is usually a sniping map. It's pretty big, It basically has two sides to it. You can see people from everywhere. Sniping, very effective. As is everything else, because you can go into buildings and get people with shotguns, and outside areas work with machine guns and rifles and that. And it's just a lot of fun. And again, it's a map where you could totally jump on top of the castle, because it's not really a glitch to jump on top of the castle. It's just, if you jump out of the one area the right way, you can get there. Castle has all these fun areas, and bright, shiny, and a bunch of fun. Don't worry, you get to hear Kiefer Sutherland say a few too many things, because everybody's always getting recon planes, artillery strikes, and dogs. It always goes well for everybody, and it's always a fun map to play. Number 6. I do have a hell of a relationship with Black Ops 2. That challenge system, it's wonderful. I've gotten diamond on every single gun, because the challenge system is so fun to diamond every gun. I had to. It was so much fun. So, this is going to be my favorite map from the game. It was a map that I didn't always do good at, but you know what? I think nostalgia is going to take over. I'm going to say that this was so much fun, even when I didn't do well. My number 6 is Raid. Raid is a sniping map for me. And I get how it's not. There's 2 areas on the outside that are long, but usually people are in the middle. But sniping from side to side, it is so much fun to snipe there. It's so much fun to do everything, but I think it's just a little bit more fun to snipe. And I think the sniping controls in Black Ops 2 are just so successfully fluid, it makes it so much fun to snipe. I remember thinking it wasn't so good when I first played it, because, you know, it wasn't a Modern Warfare 2 or 1 or any other game. It was different, but, you know, it was a smooth kind of different. I still like to pop in Black Ops 2 every once in a while and have fun playing it. As for Raid, just a fun map all around. Do anything. From shotgun to sniper rifle, Raid was always what you wanted to play at. Number 5. Now, like Modern Warfare on my bottom 20, I'm going to mention Modern Warfare 3 once on my top 20, and it's right now. A carbon copy of Modern Warfare 2, yes. But fun? Also yes. I definitely think it's a more fun experience than Black Ops, I'll say it. I usually think it's a lot of fun, the guns are better, the system of unlocking guns is more fun than Black Ops where you just buy whatever. There's really only one map that always was a blast. And that map is Arkaden. What's better than a mall theme, huh? I don't know. Maybe a destructed mall theme? Maybe a map where using the KSG is fantastic? I'll say it, I think Modern Warfare 3 did shotguns the best of any Call of Duty. All of them were fun, and using them was just ridiculous. Bootleg almost made this list, and so did Resistance. And I always used shotguns there too, because Modern Warfare 3 did shotguns best. They were so fun. The silly leveling up gun system was nifty, and I could never get a gun to gold because I always prestiged the instant I could prestige, but I always got them pretty close because I always played these 3 maps. But Arkaden is fun everywhere. You can even go outside and use a shotgun. You can go inside and use a shotgun. There is quite a bit of camping, but I mean, pretty fun to eradicate, pretty fun to combat against. Arkaden, great place to be. Number 4. Yeah, you might have noticed that I haven't talked about Modern Warfare 3 much in this video, and funny enough, nor have I talked about Modern Warfare 2. Yeah, I would say it's in the top 3 multiplayers, but when I always think of the maps, I never really remember any of them that well, except for one, and that's Highrise. Everybody loves Highrise. Don't tell me you don't love Highrise. Highrise is exactly what you want. It's beautiful to play. It's got an interesting color design, I'd guess, when you go outside, and it's kind of like a maroon, lightish maroon. I know you can get on top of the one side Yeah, that's how people play the game. Yeah, when you start the map, everybody's sniping at each other. Yeah, I'll agree with you. That's me as well. But still, there's so many areas underneath the map that are close quarters. Areas outside the map are big, long corridors. Highrise is always fun. I mean, it just reminds me of silly things that you can do in the game, like how you can get to that crane on the outside of the map. Easy to eradicate, very easy to eradicate. They can't watch two completely different sides at once, but I mean, it's also hard. Those people got a good vantage point on most. But yeah, Highrise, just simply wonderful. Number 3. I love sniping. I love sniping a lot. It's what I like to do. It's a lot of fun. While the game is pretty easy to control and fun, there's not a lot that's as rewarding as sniping and getting those kills and getting higher kill deaths than everybody just from sniping. One map did it better than any other map, and that map was Cliffside. Cliffside is the most wonderful sniping map. It's a map where you can literally see from one side to the other. People are specks in your scope. And when you get somebody across the map, there is not a better feeling. The edges promote sniping, the middle, it's sniping. I can't tell you how good of I mean, obviously people use MP40s and submachine guns all the time, but I can't tell you how much better of an idea it is to do anything but snipe. And the map's a nice sunny day. I mean, give Black Ops a little credit. Hazard's a nice sunny day also, but sniping is so fun. You're always on your toes, you're always looking around, always having fun at Cliffside. I never don't have fun at Cliffside, even when I do bad. Because some people are easily way better at sniping than I am. People play the hell out of CODs and get really good at sniping, but whenever I go to Cliffside, even just one kill is enough to make my day. Number 2. Small maps are something we all covet. Matches are always quick. Usually it's a lot of intense, fun gameplay. Nothing does that better than a small map, obviously. So, what do you call a good small map? Well, some do them a way I don't like Nuketown, but some do them perfect. And perfect goes to Dome. And I'm talking about Dome from World at War, not from Modern Warfare 3. Nice try. Why the hell would you not make an original title for your frickin' map instead of just copying an old map? Dome was always so intense, always so fun, and always split into 2 sections. Even though the map was so small, you can literally place an artillery strike anywhere and you would always get 3 kills. Dome was so much fun. There were hidden corridors where you could jump out and get people. And the same would go for those people. They'd try and camp and you could eradicate them. It was so easy to get on a jump on somebody, so fun to go everywhere, and you could run the map in like 30 seconds. And I mean going around the edge perimeter of the map. Dome, always so much fun, never skipped, just what everybody always wanted to play. And I'm actually surprised that it's number 2, because number 1. It's hard to give a map legendary status. For something as overproduced as Call of Duty, something legendary, it's something that you just can't believe would even happen. I played all the Call of Duties a lot. I've prestiged in most of them. But I've played my fair share of Call of Duty. And for a couple maps, they never come up. I don't know what it was about servers, but they decided that I guess the experience was just too small. And they'd never want to make these maps come out too much because people will get annoyed with playing them. So, a little anecdote before I get here. I was playing the footage for these maps. I had pre-made this list before, and Dome was my number 1. Just so you know, my number, I'm not going to put any honorable mentions on this, but my number 20 was Comeback from Advanced Warfare, if you want to know what it was. But I had already made the list, and I was recording games. I put a COD in, and I was getting the maps for the game, and then it happened. The map came up. And I'd never played the map on online multiplayer before. I'd played it with my friends offline, and that wasn't fair to use. It came up, and I was just astounded that it even came up that I smacked record on the computer. And that was 8 minutes of fun that I can't even believe I happened, that it shot this map to number 1 from 1 match of play. My number 1 is Shipment. I'm about a level 40 in Modern Warfare. I have never seen a game at Shipment. I've never seen the possibility to go to Shipment. I haven't even seen the picture in the corner of the map that sends you to Shipment. It's never even shown up. So when Shipment came up, my jaw dropped. I thought, oh my goodness. And I played at Shipment, and it was so much fun. And it was domination. Domination on Shipment, for God's sakes. The map is so small. I don't think there's a map in a COD that is this small. It's so small, and the action is so fun. Going from side to side in seconds is so much fun. These guys were trying to hide on their edges, and we couldn't because we would all swarm them. Because for a small map, you could come from everywhere. While you can come from everywhere, you can get funneled. You can hide in shipment carts everywhere on the map. The map is so available to fun. And I've only played it once. I can't believe I haven't been able to experience this more. And you know what? That's why it's number 1. Because I haven't overplayed it, and it was an experience unlike any COD experience I've had in a long time. Which, by the way, we won that game. We won that game like 200-8. And it was even teams. We don't even know what they were doing, and I didn't even do great. I did quite less than great. Maybe at a later date, I'll post that game to this channel, but nonetheless, it was something to behold. So thank you for, sitting through all these. I know it's hard to talk about something fun over stuff that's bad, but that's just these are just the maps that I think are the best. Tell your friends about us, Team Just Asses. Have a good day.